Hello everyone! Сегодня я поделюсь своей историей изучения английского языка и дам вам 3 эффективных совета, чтобы облегчить ваш путь изучения. В чем отличие моего видео от остальных? В том, что все это я буду объяснять на английском языке. Да, мой английский не совсем идеальный, мне над ним еще работать и работать, но знаете что? Ее достаточно, чтобы понимать англоязычных людей и чтобы разговаривать свободно на многие темы. Не буду долго томить, let's get started. Let's start from my story, from my journey. My first acquaintance with English happened when I was 3 years old. Do you remember, guys, this old Nokia phone? In this Nokia phone, I remember clearly I was playing one game. In this game, there was 3 buttons. It's like start game, settings, and exit. And I wasn't sure what to click because for me, it was like unknown, some symbols. I remember once I clicked settings and I was so angry with myself. Like there were a lot of unknown things, a lot of stuff, and I was like, ah. And after that time, I understood that English is important in my life because after that, I faced English so many times in my life. In games, in movies, in some videos. Russian or Kazakh language wasn't enough for me to search for information. That's why I always tried to learn some basic English words. But seriously, learning English I started 2 years ago, or 2.5. I can remember clearly, but it's up to 3 years. At that time, I decided I need to learn this language seriously, like consciously, not subconsciously when I learn it for basic stuff. Hello, how are you? No, I felt like I need more. I need to understand this language. I need to speak in this language. From my 3 years of experience with English, I can give you some good tips. Let's start from the tip number 1. It's set specific goals. I know it sounds banal, but many people don't do that. When I ask some people, why are you learning English? They can't give me specific answer. They say something like, oh, I need it for travel. Oh, it's cool, why not? They always struggle with the answer. And it's not good in my opinion, because when you don't have your final destination, when you don't have your point A and point B, your chance to be succeed in this language, it's decreasing. Let me explain it in a simple language. For example, in my case, I set specific goal, like A1 in 3 months and A2 in 3 months also. And then I decided like, oh, okay, I'm doing my progress so fast. I'm going to achieve level B1 in 2 months. And I did it. But then I was so encouraged with this experience. I was so inspired and I set goal like B2 level in 4 months. Unfortunately, I didn't succeed. But you know what, guys? Not the main thing. Main thing is when you set specific goal, when you have deadlines, you take more responsibility. You are more aware of what you are doing. When you have this awareness, you have more chances to succeed. So set specific goals and avoid this mistake that many people do. Don't set unrealistic goals like, oh, C1 level in 3 months. No, guys, it's impossible. I'm not that kind of blogger that will tell you like, you will learn English in 3 months, in 2 months. No, you should be aware of your potential, aware of your abilities. That's all, guys. It was tip number 1. Know your destination, set specific goals. Tip number 2 is work on every aspect of the language. As you know, guys, in every language we have an aspect like grammar, listening, speaking, writing, reading, right? So I want you to focus on every aspect, but you can ignore these 2 aspects like writing and reading if you don't need it. It's okay, but grammar, listening and speaking, you should be focused on this aspect. If you are going to take an IELTS test, I will strongly recommend you to read and write In IELTS test, you need to write and read, and it will affect on your score, overall score. Let's talk about first grammar. Many people try to avoid grammar. They're like, oh my god, grammar is so hard. Yes, it is. In the beginning, it's a little bit hard. But if you try to dive into grammar, if you try to understand why are you saying these words, why are you using these specific words instead of other words, language will be more understandable. And the more you understand, the more you will learn, and the more it easier gets. So guys, don't ignore the grammar. Some people might say, oh, grammar, I can live without grammar. Yes, you can, but you will speak like a caveman. People won't take you seriously if you speak like, I go tomorrow, run. I go yesterday. No, guys, know at least basic rules of grammar, basic verb tenses, prepositions, and etc. Okay? In order to make this process for you easy, structure your grammar program. Know what are you going to learn and learn it. Don't just learn randomly, like today grammar for C1 level, tomorrow for A2. No, guys, level by level, step by step, okay? If you can't structure your grammar program, just buy some books and work with these books. And I strongly recommend you English file. In my case, it was very helpful because in there you have everything. And if you finish one level by English file, you will be balanced speaker because they books give you opportunity to work on your grammar, listening, speaking, writing, everything. So I will recommend this book. Okay, now let's talk about listening. How to improve your listening skills. Try to listen more podcasts and try to watch YouTube videos because their language is more understandable. If you want to watch movie, it will be hard. I am going to warn you. Many people, they watch movies with native speakers, hear how they speak. After the listening, they feel discouraged. Why? Because native speakers talk very fast, blah 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 blah. And sometimes I also can't catch their words. So don't push, okay guys? And also avoid this big mistake that many people do. It's watching movies with a subtitle in your native language. Don't do this, please. Because when you watch the movies with subtitles in your native language, you won't learn the language. You will just be reading your own language and you won't make progress. If you watch a movie, video or any content, watch with English subtitles. Thank you. Okay, now let's talk about reading. If you want to read something and everything is hard for you to understand, you can begin from Reddit, or you have the specific books for A1, A2 or B1 for each level of English. In my case, I've been reading Reddit. It's like business with pleasure. You read Reddit and you try to understand language, and also their stories are interesting for you. You can adjust Reddit feeds for you individually, and it's really fun. For me, it was an interesting to read some stories, funny stories, and at the same time I was improving my English. So I will strongly recommend you to use this application. If you are preparing for an IELTS, I don't recommend you to read Reddit, because in Reddit they use like slang language. It's like dirty language. If you are preparing for IELTS, I will strongly recommend you to read IELTS Band 9 articles. You can find it on the internet. Just type it, IELTS Band 9 reading. These articles will help you to improve your also writing and reading skills. Okay guys, now tip number 3. Start speaking from the very beginning. I've seen many people who can understand, who can write, but they can't speak. They understand the language, but they can't speak. And what is the difference between speaking and these skills like reading, listening? They are passive way to learn language, okay? But when it comes to speaking it's active because you use this language. So in order to use the language, you need to practice. The more you practice, the more confidently you will speak, okay? If you don't have any foreigners and you live in a village like me, you can practice with yourself. For example, you are having your breakfast and you know only 50 words in English. Even though, try to practice these 50 words, try to drill them, try to describe the world that you are surrounded with. For example, oh, this is board, and this is beautiful board. Oh, this is wall. This wall is white, and I like this wall. Try to describe everything like this. Try to make this monologue in your head, or you can think out loud. In my case, it has improved me a lot, because I didn't have people to speak with. I live in a small village, and many people here, they don't speak English. So don't be sad and practice with yourself. Okay guys, and I have for you bonus tip, extra tip, is choose your accent. In my case, I haven't understood the difference between these accents, and it was hard for me to, for example, understand British English, and I thought, oh, my English is not good. But the problem was with British English, not with me. When I listen, for example, American English, I can easily understand these speakers. But when it comes to British, it's always challenging to understand them, in my case. So try to distinguish these two accents. And there are a lot of accents like Indian and other, etc. But I'm not going to talk about it. If you understood many things that I was saying, it means that you can understand American English. And don't try to underrate yourself when you don't understand some specific accents or British accents, like in my case. It just means you need to train to understand this specific accent, not English overall. Maybe you understand the English, but you can understand some specific dialects or accents. Окей, ребята, самое главное это желание. Мы лишь помогаем вам облегчить ваш путь. Мы даем вам эффективные методы. Но если у вас нету внутреннего желания, нету у вас вот этой страсти, вам никакая методика не поможет, поверьте мне. Сколько бы она эффективная ни была. Так что главное, как я говорил, определите вашу цель и имейте огромное желание преодолевать трудности при изучении языка. Well, thanks for your attention. See you soon, guys.